process.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
I was just going to continue with
Yeah.
Paris, just to ask you, because that was so striking, the image, even before you spoke about it being so personal to you, but the image on the right of the two and the use of the colour as well as that, it was so striking. Could you talk a little bit about your use of colour, or was that, it seemed out of place in a sense, but when you've explained the emotional kind of impact there.
Yeah, there is a definite thing going on with the colour, which is that obviously her beginnings, Milbourne Pond has its own theme, but it's very grey because she was born in February, and my feeling about her after the research was that I think that this was a very unconventional family. I think that she was very unconventional herself. I probably, wasn't ever going to be able to be a conventional woman and take on that role. This was part of her inheritance in a way. So I needed to make it a very stormy kind of, swirly image. So that kind of stands alone. And then there are two very related paintings. So Berlin and London have a very similar colour scheme, and I kind of thought about, they've all got to be seen together. They're going to be seen in a very particular space, and they have to work as a whole body. And that was a sort of more controlled sort of palette with me working out how to do this, because that was the other thing, is I had to work out how to incorporate her, the line into the painted works. And then Paris came about, and again, sort of quite subdued colours. And it was this idea really for me that the border is so significant. So it's almost as though everything hinges on stage 5 and the border, because that was the crisscross moment that I had when I was filming with the Tate. And, it just had to get more, the colour had to get more powerful. It just had to be. You were crossing over into Spain, and
but also it relates very much to all the work that you've done, because the border, the line,
exactly,
even the performances that you've done in the past, there is always the line, isn't there?
Exactly.
You cross,
the line
separates, trespass.
Yeah. And I also, just from an aesthetic point of view, you get tired of the same. I kind of need that, but that was when I just needed to say, okay, we're going somewhere different with this. And then it goes a bit dusty again in Barcelona, because I was very influenced by some black and white photographs of the streets at the time, and the barricades and all of that. And it just looked to me very, very dusty. And chaotic, and that just had to be that way. And then there is a very very marked shift in my sketch for the final painting. Taglienta is very muted, and I was very influenced by Jenny's first draft poem for Taglienta, which she then changed, which was hilarious, because she had a lot of references to blood in her final, in her first draft for Taglienta, and then I sort of had in my sketch thought, no, I'm not going to go with blood, that's just too cliche, no. And then it was the poem kind of just really changed my mind, and I thought, no, I really do have to go with this. And that is why it's so kind of, infused with this colour at the end. And the whole scene, I thought about maybe doing a bit, but then no, it just had to be the whole thing really smeared and very gesturally done. And there is a lot of red, there are red stripes and red bands and red wedges, but they're sort of more about, little references to communism. The red, there's a big red wedge in Berlin, which Berlin was a very difficult painting because I felt very weighed down and very responsible. And that's more to do with the Holocaust, so that is really thinking about how prescient Felicia was in her, her determination to try and do something in terms of anti-fascism, because she'd seen what was happening, and she had German friends who she tried to help. She was very, very active in in London once she returned from Berlin and trying to assist Jewish refugees fleeing from Nazi Germany. So it's almost as though there are kind of peaks and troughs and spikes and different things going on, but the theme sort of running through. Sorry, long answer to.
So
to
two
your question.
lines you're saying influenced Paris, yes? Did you say line and an actual line? Did you say a statue of a lion, is that what you
The
said?
statue of a lion, yeah.
As well as lines
Yes,
in general. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Well, for the other side of Felicia's drawing practice, which we have not touched on, so her two main subjects were working people and animals. And yeah, I mean, just exquisite. And in fact, she drew animals more than anything